start this evening's meeting. Please rise to salute the flag. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided as follows. On March 20th, 2025, notice was sent to the Home News Tribune, Star Ledger, Tappan to Linden, Union County Local Source, and the clerk of the municipality. By state law, there is no smoking permitted in this building at any time. In addition to the listed items in this agenda, the Board of Education may discuss and act upon other items not specifically referred to herein as is allowed at the regularly scheduled monthly board meeting under the Sunshine Law. Roll call.
Ms. El-Shahi.
Present.
Ms. Pino.
Present.
Ms. Thomas.
Present.
Ms. Ruiz. Ms. Armstead.
Present.
Ms. Carrillo. Ms. Simpson. Ms. Dela Cruz. And Dr. Bergman.
Present. Can I say something before you say it? Sure. Before our President speak, I want to make an announcement. This Board of Education wants to congratulate the superintendent for completing her doctoral degree, and she is now going to be addressed as Dr. Atia Perkins.
Thank you, Dr. Bergman.
At this time, we're going to move on to comments from the public. Members of the public desiring to make a public comment may come forward at this time. For those watching online, if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature on the online meeting platform. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address. Individuals are invited to speak on one topic at a time, and no individual will speak more than once until all individuals so desiring have spoken once. The public is reminded that to ensure the efficient and orderly operations of the meeting, members of the public will be limited to speaking on agenda items for 3 minutes. Anyone online? At this time, we're going to move on to the education report.
Education Committee upon recommendation of superintendent of schools and assistant superintendent presents the following motion to the Linden Board of Education for approval. Action item 1, 2, 3. Your secretary has a second?
Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. El-Shahi.
Yes.
Ms. Pino.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Armstead.
Yes.
And Dr. Bergman.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to move on to the planning and policy report.
The Planning and Policy Committee, upon the recommendation of the superintendent and the assistant superintendents, presents the following motion to the Linden Board of Education for approval. I approve item number 1. I respectfully ask for a second.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Ms. El-Shahi.
Yes.
Ms. Pino.
Yes.
Ms. Thomas.
Yes.
Ms. Armstead.
Yes.
And Dr. Bergman.
Yes.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to go into the superintendent's report.
Good evening. Thank you. So for tonight, I'm pleased to share that we have students who said yes to providing a more visual to the proposed standard mode of dress uniform policy. So I would like to bring up our district publicist, Mr. Watkins, and then he can begin with introducing our students. Oh, okay.
Let's do something, let's do that after.
I apologize. I'm going to share out the survey results first before the fashion show. So we opened up a public survey for all of our parents and guardians for 3 weeks, which allowed them to provide input on the standard modes of dress policy. We had 2,402 respondents, which is about 30% of our student population. The following questions were asked, and I will share the results. Do you support the idea of a student uniform dress policy for the 25-26 school year? 65% said yes, 30% was no, and 7% undecided. Do you believe that student uniform dress code could create a more focused and respectful learning environment? 65% said yes, and again, no and not sure was roughly 30%. Do you believe uniforms can foster a sense of belonging and school pride? 65% said yes. Do you think a uniform dress code would limit students' ability to express their individuality? 35% said yes, 49% said no, 15% said somewhat. Are you concerned about the financial cost of purchasing uniforms? 46% said no, 37% said yes, and 16% said undecided. Do you think uniform dress code would reduce peer pressure and bullying related to clothing? 67% said yes, 23% said no, less about 9% said undecided. If a uniform dress code were implemented, which option would you prefer? 43% stated a strict uniform policy, 34% said a flexible dress code policy, and 20% said no policy at all. Which clothing items do you believe should be part of the uniform policy? 74% stated polo shirts, 58% sweaters, 64% khaki pants, 50% sweatshirts, and all others were under 40%. Dress shirts, skirts, shorts, and other was 8%. Which do you think would be the biggest challenge for implementing a uniform dress code? And that was 3 responses. People may not accept them. Parents may oppose to a strict policy, but it may eliminate bias, and then seeking student approval. So these are the results, the quantitative data in regards to seeking input from parent participation. They will be shared out on our website. I'm not sure if the board has any questions about that before we then move on into the fashion show. Okay, thank you. So we will now turn it over to Ms. Lockett.
Question. How much does it cost the parents moving in for the first year? How does it work?
So one of the things that the board is planning to approve with this policy is to provide every student with, is it 4 tops? 4 tops, 2 short sleeve tops and 2 long sleeve tops. And that will be for every student who comes into the district for the 25-26 school year. The approximate cost for a full uniform was less than under $30.
So the full uniform, top and bottom, is less than $30. And we are supplying each student with 4 tops. And what color pants they would have to wear? What are their options?
Well, we'll showcase that in a few minutes.
I'm ready, yeah, it's all good.
All right.
Khaki bottoms.
All right. So you ready?
Come on stage.
I just come on the stage?
Yes, they are.
Thank you, members of the board. Check, check. So, what we're doing here today is to create a visual based on the results of the survey, and so you can actually get a visual. So, I'm going to invite my colleague, Patience, to kind of describe what's happening today.
So today, we got student volunteers. I'm sorry, I'm short. Today, we have student volunteers who are coming to showcase these various ideas, but what we gained from the survey was that dark colors were the most popular among responses, specifically the navy blue and the black with the khakis. Also, looking and speaking with some of the vendors, those were the colors that were accessible and more affordable in various sizes. So they can go up to the larger 3X, 4X sizes. Move out the way.
So we have our models from School 1 and
So our models are from School 1, School 2, School 6, Stoll Middle School, McManus Middle School, and Linden High School. Oh, and I'm sorry, School 5 also.
come on, give them a round of applause. And get them all their parents. Come on up. Those are some options there. White shirt with a Linden name emblazoned on the shirt. You see there to easily identify your students. Oh. Yes, these are some of our middle school students. All right, give a round of applause. Let's try this. Come on. Show us some love. Come on. So as you see, the bottoms are khakis, and both girls often pants as well as it could be accessorized to show their individuality and their style. Yeah, accessorize it. Right? Right? They're still classy, you see? Right. All right. Okay, give her a round of applause here. Where you're showing your stuff. All right. And we have one more set. Yes. 2 more sets. While he's wearing a light blue shirt, that's also an option that we have to consider. Well, their survey mostly show dark colors. And
Sweatpants, sweatshirt, and t-shirt with the Linden Public Schools on it. And then also our cardigan for our older students at the high school is also embroidered with a black polo shirt. Jamie, can you show the cardigan that has the logo on it? Jamie? And then our navy blue and Watkins would like to thank the parents for coming out, rehearsing, and try-ons, and lending us your children for the evening. Guys, can everybody come back and take a picture over here by the tiger sign? All models by the tiger, Mr. Tiger.
Thanks again to our parents for making this happen. Coming out tonight.
I'd like to thank Mr. Watkins, our publicist, Ms. Smith, who works in superintendent's office, for your support in carrying out this fashion show, and to all of the student participants and their parents and guardians for helping us showcase the potential uniform. And that will conclude my superintendent's report.
Woo! Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Perkins. At this time, we're going to move on to comments from the public. Members of the public desiring to make a public comment may come forward at this time. For those watching online, if you wish to make a comment or ask a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature on the online meeting platform. Please begin your comments by stating your name and address. Individuals are invited to speak on one topic at a time, and no individual will speak more than once until all individuals so desiring have spoken once. The public is reminded that to ensure the efficient and orderly operations of the meeting, members of the public will be limited to speaking on items for 3 minutes.
Barbara Leslie Flair. Do I gotta say my address?
Yes, please speak into the mic. Thank you.
Barbara Leslie Flair, 1118 Walnut. So question is, you guys are gonna provide the students with 4 shirts, correct? Yes?
That is correct.
So we're gonna provide them with any bottoms?
So the bottoms aren't specifically purchased by the uniform company. They can be any brand as long as they're the khaki color.
So is that no?
Yeah, that is.
Okay, I'm sorry, it wasn't clear. Like,
Okay, that's okay.
okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Emmanuel Romero, I don't got an address, but Emmanuel Romero. So I was gonna ask, I'm on board with this and everything. I like the colors and everything. And I really think it's gonna help with like student bullying based on clothing. Like for example, my brother, he got bullied just because he didn't have the best shoes or he was wearing clothes that were discolored. And I really think that's gonna help with that. But I was just wondering, I have a piece of evidence right here. So yonder pouches, for example. You said you were going to implement them, you were going to use them towards the school, and look what happened in high school level. Nobody implemented, everybody ended up using their phones everywhere. It just didn't work out, and it was a waste of $40,000. So what I'm asking is, if you're going to do this, make sure to implement this across the schools, and like actually support this throughout the schools and not make sure to make it end up like another failure.
Thank you.
Jacob Kentucky, 361 Amherst Road. So I have a few questions.
I'm sorry.
Jacob Kentucky, 361 Amherst Road. So as he said, the yonder pouches were kind of a catastrophe as an elementary student. So I was wondering, how are you guys going to enforce these dress codes? Would it be like disciplinary action if someone doesn't wear it? Because as like a student population, I feel like not a lot of people will wear it coming to school, so that would be like very time worthy in the morning, getting everybody like dress coded and stuff, because IDs in the morning is way too much as time, so yeah. So everybody's like late home and stuff, that's it.
One thing I could answer you to that, one of the things we have as a benefit is the fact that at least 65%, as you see in our survey, 65% of the parents we have surveyed want uniforms. So with the parents being on board, it helps with us making this work. Because then the parent is responsible to make sure the kids leave home in uniform.
Wasn't that only 30% of this parent population though?
That's correct. But you never get a whole population. What you normally do, you do a survey, and if you get 30 to 40% of the population, actually that's a good number. That's a very good number as an indicator as the support we're getting from parents.
So how do you think it'll be like enforced if someone doesn't wear doing a uniform?
I hear you. It's really speaking softly.
How do you think it will be enforced if someone doesn't like wear their uniform?
We have policies in place. Listen, we don't want to have to send kids home, okay? Nobody wants to have to send a kid home if the kid is breaking the law. But bottom line is, if we have policies in place that require students to wear a uniform, we hope that every teacher every security guard, every principal, everyone is on board to enforce the policies. We are just board members. So people within the school district, they are the ones who have to make sure these policies are enforced.
Good, thank you.
Hello, Essence Myrick, 532 Princeton. I had a question in regards to the enforcement for the special education community, like the special ed community. So in an instance where a child, has issues with a uniform, like what would be the ramification on enforcement there?
That's a very good question because I am a mother of a special needs child. And I know how uncooperative they can be at times. And because this is an amazingly special population that we have to work with, I am sure that we are going to have accommodation in place to cater for special needs kids.
And do we know within the survey if special ed parents actually responded? Like, do we have a breakdown of gen ed versus special ed in the responses? Because this is a big change. I agree with uniform, but I think this is a big change, and 30% out of a whole population, that's really not a big number for such a big change that we are about to implement. So do we have more of a breakdown of like what type of parents were that participated in that survey?
We never do that because you have to remember we have to treat all our students the same way. So if we have to treat all our students the same way, we do our survey globally. All right, and again, 30% of the student population that was surveyed is a good indication as to how successful this transition can be.
Okay.
Hi, good evening. Terry Lester, 1119 Walnut Street. My first question is, who is the uniform company that's going to provide the uniforms? Do you have a contract with them?
No, that is something that needs to be bid out. So we were first waiting for the board to approve it, which they've done tonight. So the district will be bidding out for the uniforms that they will be buying, as well as potential vendors that we can be directing and to.
Okay, it's going to be bidded out. Okay. My second question was, since you're providing 4 shirts, as you said, is there going to be some kind of assistance if parents can't afford the bottoms? Or it's just on the parents?
Well, I think the kids, I am sure every kid have a black trousers in their closet right now.
I thought it was khaki.
Don't you see some black Yes. Yeah, we cater for economically disadvantaged children as well. We are aware that there is hardship out there. So we have catered for questions coming to us, parents coming to us and asking for assistance.
Okay, and like the young man said earlier about enforcement, is it really lawful if a child comes to school without a uniform, you sending him home? How are you going to police this, basically? How will you have the right to send a child home who's supposed to have a free education in the United States of America home when just because they don't have a uniform on?
Normally we have extra clothes in place. So in certain instances, we would actually give the student a uniform to put on and they would have to return it. So we have checks and balances in place in order to keep continuity. So we're doing our best.
Just to say this, there are parents like my child, you're not going to put on a uniform that's just you just getting out the closet. There's diseases, there's COVID still around. I'm not gonna allow you to put a uniform on my child.
But we're not gonna put on a dirty uniform on your child.
Clean, I don't know where it's coming from. I'm not gonna allow it. So you guys have to really figure out and think about these things like that. Because you can't,
So, yeah. So,
speaking about enforcement, you can't just send a child home because they don't have a uniform.
That is accurate, and we will not send a student
Right.
home if they are not. The code of conduct will be, we have a code of conduct, and it's outlined in our parent-teacher-student handbook. It outlines all of the infractions and consequences. Once this policy is approved for the September start, those consequences will be outlined in there. It will not include students going home. The ultimate goal, which states in the policy, is to work with the student and the parent if there's any complexity if the student is not in uniform. We want students to be educated each and every day, and if there's any concerns or barrier, we're going to address it to change it, for what we need instead of an infraction or a consequence to remove.
Okay, I just want to make sure no kid is sent home because they don't have a uniform.
No.
Okay. And the code of conduct, as you spoke about, would have to actually be added on in there. Right?
It will be revised once the board policy, they get revised over the summer, so it will be up and running for August 2025 for the September start.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Carrie Spore, 216 Morningside. My question is, I saw when they did the modeling, like the sweatsuits, are the elementary kids allowed to wear them? Like all the time, because like my daughter's not gonna wear any of these being special ed, so I'm confused.
Yes, those are all the options that
So
we.
she could wear a sweatsuit every day?
Those colors, yes.
Okay. And those we could buy ourselves and make, or we have to buy them from the company?
Well, once we have the bid out and we have the approved vendor, we'll share that out where those items are with the school community. The bottoms, again, the tops will have the imprinted Linden Public Schools on it. So that's coming from a vendor. But the bottoms, as long as it's in the khaki colors, there's no specific vendor.
I didn't see khaki sweat, wasn't it dark sweatpants that I saw on the young man?
It was dark sweat.
It was dark.
Oh, the dark colors, okay, yes. The dark color one.
Yeah, I'm just concerned because especially like the kids, they play in the playground. They're gonna come home like khaki turns to black.
So the
And being a single mother as well, and I work in the district, I don't think like it's gonna work because people are gonna feel it's unfair because my daughter doesn't get to, you know what I mean? She doesn't have to follow those rules because she does have an IEP and she does have differences than child number 2. Do you know what I mean? I think this is gonna cause more of a controversy because you're gonna have like, why could she wear it? Do you know what I mean? And you're talking about bullying and everything, I could just see things like that happening because kid A can wear whatever she wants as long as she wears Linden. Like I wear Linden attire every day. So if she could wear the Linden logo and the Linden pants, do you know what I mean? And then everybody else has to wear something else. Like, like that's my biggest concern.
Well,
So-
thank you, we will address that.
All right, thank you.
Terry Todd, 426 Lafayette Street, Linden, New Jersey. I'm also a middle school counselor at McManus Middle School, and I have more of a statement than I do a question, which is there are many schools that wear uniforms, many school districts, K through 12, Roselle, Elizabeth, Broadway, Carteret. So this is not a first. This is not a first for Linden. Wearing is just a matter of getting the parents to buy into it and us enforcing it. It's to me like if we're gonna do it, enforce it. Okay, make sure that it's not wasted money on the parents. That is a hardship. I have a grandson who is a special needs student in Roselle. He wears a uniform every day. Yeah, it gets dirty. He's a kid. Okay? Sometimes they let him wear the t-shirts. Sometimes, mom just buys dark pants. So that solves that. But whether your kid wears khaki pants, whether they wear sweatpants, whether they wear khaki, they're gonna get dirty. They're gonna get dirty no matter what they have on. So I just think like if we're gonna do it, let's do it. Let's enforce it, make sure it's done even at the high school level. Parents don't give in to the kids. If they have to wear it, they have to wear it. And that's really what it is. It's policies, procedures. Part of the problems that we have is kids don't like to follow the rules.
That's right.
I see it in Saturday school every Saturday. They don't like to follow the rules. Are the parents going to give in, or are we going to follow the procedures and the rules? I mean, if it's a change, then it's a change. Sometimes change can be good, and it'll teach your kids sometimes some character and some, things that they might need later on in life. Okay, so that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. George Myrick, 532 Princeton Road. I have a son that's in special needs, and he's not good with change. And do y'all think y'all could have a trial run to see how the rest of the student body feel about the uniforms, instead of just going on with the uniforms and that's it?
Well, the thing is, like I said earlier, I know because I went through that. My daughter is now 24, and right now I still have to struggle with her. It's very, very difficult for her to change. And we have an amazing special needs department. And we have a lot of support from our special needs department, and I feel confident that we can work through the transition with your child. So if it takes a while, sometimes they wear the pants, they don't want to wear the shirt, but they have it with them. Because sometimes they don't want to wear it, but when they go to school, they want to put it on. You never know when they actually they're ready to become part of it. They go in the classroom, they see all the friends wearing it, they start asking, where is mine? So, as I said...
Or it could go the other way too.
Or it could go the... Yeah, as I said...
You got to think about both sides,
Listen,
not just...
as I said, I lived through it, so I know exactly...
I'm living through it now.
Yes, and it ain't an easy...
And my son is only 6, and he has a routine already.
Yes.
And it took us years to get him in this routine that he's set and good. Now, to start the next school year, we uplifting his whole routine that we already got him set. And do y'all take that into perspective, or is it just a normal kid? Not to say my son is not normal, but there are a special need community within Linden. And a lot of times I think y'all overlook them and just think about gen ed or any other thing.
Believe me when I tell you, we do not overlook our special needs kids. One of the things I am an advocate for kids with special needs, and I am proud of my daughter. And now she's 24 years old, and your child is 6 years old. Your journey ain't an easy one, but it's a beautiful one.
Oh yes, definitely.
Because you know what?
I'm a big part of my son's life, and I'm going to continue to be a big part of advocate for my son. No matter
and you know what? And we will all work through it together. All I'm saying is that we have a very big special needs population. At least 1,300 to 1,400 of our students are special needs. So we have a lot of parents who may feel the same way we do, but we work through it together.
Can I also just add, if you think that we can be doing better, please reach out to us, because Lamari's son also has special needs. She also sits on the board. Two of my first cousins that I live with have special needs, and Saskia's little brother has special needs. So we do want to make sure that we're doing better to make sure that you guys feel supported. It is very, very important to us. So if we are missing a mark, please don't hesitate.
I got support.
No, I'm just making sure.
Sit on the council for CPAC.
No, I just want to make sure, like, on our end, we're doing what we can during this transition to support you and your family while this is going on, because I do think that it is going to be something that can be challenging, but I just want to make sure, like, as a board, that you feel that we are giving you the most amount of support as possible, because I don't want you ever to feel like that we're overlooking your child or the special needs population, because that is something that is very important to a lot of the board members that are sitting up here. So just feel free to always reach out. I have an open line of communication, so always feel free to reach out in regards to that, because that's something that is very important to me.
And if you need us, for example, your child, you tell us what we need to do in order to help your child transition, because nobody knows your child more than you. Every day it changes, and when it changes, you tell us, and we work with you.
Thank you.
So please we'll contact you from my office to set up that time to get further information. You're welcome.
Hi, good evening. John Kaiser, 23 West Munsell Avenue. Thank you for everyone who came up and spoke, especially the students. That was some nice perspective on this issue. Thank you, sir, for asking about the vendor as well. They said they're going to bid out, but usually have things, when there's money involved in this, magically a friend or a relative of one of the farms says is going to be a school uniform maker. So I have a unique perspective on this, okay? I went, my career in Linden began at Seoul, right? In February of my 6th grade year. I went to St. Teresa's my whole career. And I only knew of uniforms. I only knew about wearing uniforms to school every single day. I started bothering my parents in 6th grade. I said, listen, I want to go to public school. All my friends in the neighborhood went to Seoul. Finally, they allowed me to. I went my first day at Seoul with one white Converse, one black Converse, no laces. It was a time of self-expression, and I really felt the freedom of being able to express myself. The young man brought up bullying. Bullies are going to bully no matter what. If it's not your clothing, it's going to be your weight, your hair, your shoes, whatever. Linden already did this, okay? It was an abject failure. I'm sorry to say. Kids were coming to school, dirty clothes. A lot of parents have to use the laundromat, and it's expensive. I know you guys are going to say it's going to save money in the long run. It's actually going to cost more money in the long run. And these are all just issues that parents brought up to me today to come up here and speak about. So what I do know is that nothing anyone says here is going to change things. It's already been decided. I just hope that you really went a year or two down the line from now, you realize like, man, maybe we should have just kept it going because I think it's fine the way things are right now. Thank you.
Hello. Hello. My name is Kalia Williams. I'm pretty new to the district. Been here for 2 years. Have 3 kids in McManus, School 4, and also pre-K at Alvin. Before moving to Linden, I lived in Belleville, and they have a uniform dress code. I know it's always mentioned about the uniform and addressing bullying. However, I feel like that's like a surface level resolution. It doesn't always address bullying because my oldest child was in 4th grade, 5th grade in Belleville. He wore a uniform every day, but they started talking about his sneakers that he wore. They were Nikes, but apparently they weren't the cool Nikes because I got it from the Nike outlet. So it doesn't always address the issue. And also, I just had a couple questions about the 4 shirts that you will supply. How does that work during the year when our kids are growing? You know, my 13-year-old is almost my height. He's constantly growing. My 6-year-old all of my kids are in the 90th percentile of height. So they're constantly growing. I'm always buying more clothes. So even if you supply the 4 tops at the beginning of the school year, by midway, I'm going to need to re-up. So I guess that would be out of pocket for the parents, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. So that's going to be in addition to regular clothes that I also have to buy. So it also, with the cost, it sometimes doesn't, it just evens out because I'm still buying regular clothes for the weekends, for off days, for vacation, holidays, all that. So I'm just, sometimes the uniform just doesn't really address all of those issues that is claimed to be addressed. I think that was it then. And so the bottoms have to be supplied out of pocket by the parents as well. Okay. All right, that's it. And also the 30%, I know you guys are saying that's pretty low. I mean, anyone who's took, statistics or any math, that's a pretty low number. I mean, it's less than 50% of the student, the parent population. So 65 or 30% is not really a great number. I don't know if there was another way to reach out to those parents that the 70% that did not reply. I mean, I got the posts, I got the emails about it, so I don't know why they didn't respond. Maybe it was a language barrier or what have you, I don't know. But if maybe you guys could, I don't know, do a second survey or make sure that it's more compliant, something above 50% at least. Yeah, that's it.
Anyone online? Hello?
There's 133 Princeton Road. As a parent who has daughters who went through the school system in uniform.
Could you speak up? We could barely hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now a little more.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Donna Hernandez, 133 Princeton Road. As a parent of two daughters who went through Linden School, wearing uniforms, parents do have to buy 2 sets of clothes. Because I was not letting, my girls wear the clothes after school or on weekends. So that's a cost. Another thing is, I know you're giving each student 4 shirts. So when they don't fit them, they have to buy from the company that you're gonna get out to. And you know about how much those shirts are gonna cost. Because if they have to be embroidered, that's not cheap. And like John Taylor said, bullies are gonna bully. If everybody's wearing the same uniform, there's different shoes, there's the hair, they wear glasses, their weight. I know because my daughter and their friends went through. So it's not just bullying about clothes, there is other stuff to bully about. Also, when we had the uniform back then, I've seen elementary students stay in from recess because they either didn't have the uniform or they didn't have, at that time there was different colors. They didn't have the right color. Or it was a gym day. They were supposed to wear their gym clothes, not the khaki pants. Keeping a student out of recess, I hope that doesn't happen, or keeping them out of class for educational time, and that's any student, elementary, middle school, or high school. We want the children to learn. So we cannot put our students in a recess all day. To not have them. So I hope there's something that's going to be put in place for taking them out of class. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Is there anyone else online? At this time, we're going to move on to new and unfinished business. Is there any new or unfinished business that the board would like to discuss at this time? Yes. Any board member comments at this time?
Thank you to all the children that participated and to all the parents and students that came out to speak at the meeting. Your feedback is always appreciated.
All right. Thank you very much for attending, and again, thank you to the students for modeling the potential uniforms that we may have, and we look forward to seeing you all at our next meeting. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn tonight's meeting.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Owashahi?
Yes.
Ms. Pina?
Yes.
Ms. Thomas?
Yes.
Ms. Armstead?
Yes.
And Dr. Bergen?
Yes.
Thank you.